Digital Reflections Presentation, Invented Spelling by Lynn Bartolucci, Cornerstone Seminar, Fall 2017. Invented spelling is a term educators use when discussing a child's ability to create words on their own based on their current letter-to-sound knowledge. As their knowledge increases, so does their spelling accuracy. How can invented spelling in a child's early years of education help them become more successful spellers as they age? With increased use of invented spelling, children will gain greater confidence in themselves and by doing so become better spellers and stronger readers as they grow. The purpose of choosing my topic was to showcase the fundamental values of invented spelling in a child's early years of education. I have been an educator for over 25 years. Through those years, I have seen a switch from direct teaching and memorizing sight words to invented spelling. I have personally seen the difference invented spelling has on a child's ability to become a stronger speller and felt it was an important subject to introduce to everyone. Invented spelling is a developmentally appropriate form of teaching children to spell. The earlier and more frequently children are allowed to partake in pencil and paper activities, such as drawing a picture and writing a story to go along with it, the more comfortable they become with the process. It's shown that early drawing skills represent the beginning of emergent writing skills. As a child's knowledge of letter and sound correlation grows, so does their ability to piece words together correctly. With invented spelling, children are not being asked to memorize or reproduce spelling that may be beyond their current level of development. The evolution of invented spelling demonstrates what a child knows about letter sounds in words and how he or she thinks the letters represent those sounds. As their invented spelling becomes more sophisticated, children begin to build a library of correctly spelled words. This library of words is stored in their brain for future use and accessed when reading and writing. Invented spelling promotes increased reading scores in children by the end of first grade. A study done by Connor, Morrison, and Slominski states that children who spent more time in meaning-focused activities, such as reading books, had a higher vocabulary growth. Educators have the important job of keeping children highly involved in oral and written language activities throughout their day. The more involved in these activities a child is during their day, the more their skills are enhanced. Early education is just the beginning of a child's invented spelling journey. There was a time when educators called invented spelling non-academic, harmful to traditional values, and a deterrent to conventional spelling. It was thought that if a child was allowed to spell incorrectly, they would continue to spell incorrectly. Direct instruction is described as a systematic presentation of responses to students' academic performance. What that means is educators would use a test, study test format, or an error correction procedure, among others, to properly educate children on how to spell. The most popular for enhancing spelling accuracy back then was the error correction procedure. The previous way of thinking has now been overshadowed by consistent findings that say spelling success is attributed to frequent exposure to language stimuli, such as reading and writing activities that are developmentally appropriate. Although direct instruction worked successfully in the past, too many newer studies have shown that invented spelling has a higher success rate in producing stronger spellers and readers. Alternatively, many educators choose to use a combination of old and new techniques. Many classrooms still apply the test correction test method when giving spelling tests in kindergarten and beyond. However, some have chose to eliminate that method and focus on allowing children to use invented spelling. There are also classrooms that utilize both forms of teaching to enhance a child's progression. The use of both simultaneously can possibly be a solution for those educators that are either stuck in the past way or unsure of the new way of teaching. When you allow a child to be creative in their writing and use invented spelling, you are allowing a child the ability to practice decision making. As previously stated, with increased use of invented spelling, children will gain greater confidence in themselves and by doing so become better spellers and stronger readers as they grow. Children have a natural ability to be creative, and invented spelling allows them to use those creative skills in a written form. The more educators allow this type of pre-literacy skill, the better the children become at it. I chose a research topic that I was familiar with to make it a little easier on myself. Although I've known for years the importance of invented spelling, I do come from a time when memorizing sight words was more popular. Through my research, I've realized that giving children the upper hand and allowing them to be more creative on their own is more beneficial to them in the long run. When a child is allowed to learn as they grow, they are progressing at their own pace. Since every child is different and develops differently, it's important that we allow the natural progression of invented spelling to happen on its own. Watching a child progress is quite fulfilling and makes my job rewarding. This was quite a challenging course for me. I began the class with zero knowledge of how to write a research paper, how to find proper articles to cite, or how to write a bibliography. If I had to write a research paper back in the early 90s when I first started college, I really don't recall. The thought of it all overwhelmed me to tears on several occasions. As the weeks progressed, I became more confident in myself and my abilities to get the job done. Navigating through Blackboard was easier than I anticipated, which was a relief. Having the ability to find my assignments on my own without the help of my daughter was an accomplishment. I learned that it was okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from them. It's okay to struggle because chances are you are not alone in the struggle. And it's also okay to ask for help. I found this course to be enlightening and hopefully useful for the remainder of my college journey. This is my works cited reference page. As you can see, I used several sources. Thank you for watching my presentation.